I mentioned that, of course, in light of what Gregor R. Reese was talking about yesterday with the settlement coming up, and it's going to be decided hopefully soon, I think. Kris Jenkins. Yesterday, as we was talking about this, Kris Jenkins, former Villanova player and a national champion, 2016 national champion, actually sued the NBA. NCAA. And here's Kris Jenkins on college athletes being forced to abide by the NCAA. Let's listen to this.
I'm actually happy and humbled, like I said, that I get to see myself on TV during March, but to know that I've never been compensated and we were forced to sign these papers or abide by these rules, not given any other fair option. The NCAA knows it's wrong, and them settling and having all this stuff going on with the House case just shows that they know that there's some wrongdoing on their part.
I wonder what they signed. That's why if we say they signed something, I'm curious what that was. I'm really curious about that one when you said that.
Yeah.
Let's also hear why Kris Jenkins why he opted out of the House, because
that was gonna be my question.
Yeah.
Like, why he opted out?
He didn't want to be part of this deal that's going on. He wanted a separate deal.
Because that's $2.8 billion, right?
I know, and the fact that he was during that period of time, starting at 2015 to now, whenever 2024, he's one of the main guys that was so showcased. Matter of fact, they still showcasing that shot. Unfortunate for Carolina fans. But anyway, hey Chris, so why did you opt out of the House deal versus the NCAA settlement and sue, independently versus this deal? Let's talk about it.
I decided to do that just because after going over with my legal team, it just wasn't fair compensation for me. And I don't have anything against the gentlemen and the young women who've opted in, but just for my fair, full market value and the full compensation that I should get, I just felt like opting into the House just wasn't in my best interest. I'm pretty sure they tried to give me maybe $4,000 over a 10-year period, which I feel like we all can agree is just extremely disrespectful and just not right. So taking things into my own matter and doing it the right way with my legal team, and we'll have our day.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 100% correct on that.
Yeah, I'm reading this.
Is he? What about every quarterback that played for Alabama? What about Bryce Young? What about the other guys? I mean, they got an argument too.
Yeah.
I mean, so my point is.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure they opted in or opted out, because Chris thinks he should get more money than anybody.
No, he thinks he should get his fair market value.
Yeah. So
what is his fair market value?
It's more than $4,000. That's what he's trying to say.
Wait, that 4,000, is that an arbitrary number? That's what you think that he's going to get?
Well, if you put him in a pool, right? If it's a mass lawsuit, you put him in a pool with all these other people.
Well, GRW said yesterday that the average price would be $91,000.
Which means
he said average.
Right.
So, I mean, somebody gonna be on the high end.
Yeah.
So which means he thinks he's way more than
he thinks he's in the millions. Well, this is why
he's gonna get. You don't think he would get $1 million?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. But look at the.
Well,
I
Bryce
get
Young should get $1 million too.
Yeah, he should.
Okay.
Off of that
He
shot,
should.
this is what happened. What they say. I mean, this is what surrounds the lawsuit. Alpha just his shot. As a result of that shot, NCAA reports that they paid the Big East $19.1 million. So he's like, okay, to distribute amongst the member schools,
Wait a minute,
athletic department.
That's not new. I gave
right.
I gave you what everybody's pay was going to be. I gave that number yesterday. That's not new though.
But
that's
I'm saying based on his that $119 million. What am I getting?
Let me ask you a question. So with Carolina won the next year, does Jackson, all those guys, they get the same amount because
do they continue them or do they continue to market that anything Jackson those guys did from that year?
I have no idea.
But they market his all the time. That shot.
Right.
I have no idea.
No, but
just like Kansas.
But we know they market his all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That we know.
Yeah.
Even said that this is off that shot, the alumni donations increased 27% in 2016. Yeah. We can go get a share of that.
But no, but I'm sorry, that happens. That happens at every school.
No.
When you win a national championship, your enrollment goes up, which was more money coming to the
NCAA
university.
need to hire you as their lawyer.
No,
you're doing good.
No. What I'm saying is this is nothing new.
Right.
I mean, obviously, yeah, enrollment goes through the roof. When Alabama's winning, like back-to-back, whatever, man, they couldn't get enough people. I mean, it was so many people trying to come to that school because of that.
So you would suggest that this what Kris Jenkins did, this phenomenon in the shot, is nothing new.
No, what I'm saying is, yes, absolutely, I would say that because I think that there'll be some other guys. The argument that he's trying to be independent of that, the argument is, well, okay, these other guys, they did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They brand just as big. I mean, Alabama, man, I can go through the list. I mean, it's some guys that I'm pretty sure, their brand went up. The Alabama brand went up because of that. They made more money based on those players that played for University of Alabama or Georgia or whoever, and it went through the roof. Chris, and I get that. I ain't mad. Villanova. And what about the other guys playing for? What about Jalen Brunson and all those guys?
No.
I
guess they in the pool. They in the other pool.
I'm just curious why.
But the crux of the lawsuit is you are still marketing me. My shot, what I did, my contribution. You're still marketing that, and I'm not being compensated.
Is he the only one they marketing like that?
That's the only one I can remember.
So how they market him? I'm just kidding.
He's in all the promos.
Yeah. He's in a lot of those.
But see, that's why I push back on it. Because again, this is just me thinking, they got several people in the promos. He's not the only one.
But he's just the only one going after his right now. They need to go after theirs.
They should go after their money.
They need to go after theirs.
And I guess,
they may have several people in promos, but none of those people in those promos, I'm telling you, none of those people on promos stick out and have been marketed like the Kris Jenkins.
Right. Well, we just led with he's the number one.
I would. Yeah.
So I mean, so that's really what puts it at the top of the argument, right? Because no matter all the other stuff they do, this one stands out, and by their own admission.
I wish we could find a video because we had Nate Britt in here, and a couple other players in the studio. Like a couple of weeks after, they had after the championship game. So I wish I could find that video. But yeah, I was just curious because my thing is that it was some other players like, well, okay, he's opted out. He's not part of the $2 billion, which is a crazy number. I don't know how they're going to differentiate who gets what.
Right.
How is there a certain algorithm that you use based on appearances, based on yardage, based on catches, based on points? I don't know how. I mean, then you got track and field.
None of that stuff's gonna matter. You just got to you're gonna have to be. Well, they won't have to prove anything if they're part of the mass.
They're just gonna get whatever they divided up.
Right.
But he's saying somebody that added up amount of people divided by X amount of billion, you ain't gonna get but. And he's like, no, I'm worth more than that.
So wait, this is to me. You're saying in the last 10 years, literally, Kris Jenkins is the most the highest profile player in the sport within those 10 years. And I don't know about that.
That's been consistently marketed every year. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Let's take it.
Who else?
Over 10 years now. I mean, every year after year after year, who in college football was marketed like that?
I got to think about that.
In basketball, what's the one person?
I got to think about it.
Well, this past few years in football would be Shador.
Over the last decade.
Oh, the decade. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that part.
You stretch it like that.
Yeah, that part. But in basketball, he's one of the ones you would clearly say in the last decade. That's the one thing you has been clearly marketed year after year after year. Those are that. From a layman's view, that's just we can see that.
Okay,
you know what I mean? People talk about it every year.
Yeah.
Those are the facts.
But I think this might start a trend where somebody else thinks that they're that. A Bryce. I don't know if he would do that, and say, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I'm going to do the same thing.
Well, I mean, Marcus Page was like, hey, my shot, they show my shot too. right before they show his shot, they show Marcus Page shot. When they thought Michael Jordan drove up and down. I mean, I saw that yesterday. So his image, so Marcus Page said, I should be out there too.
And He should get a good lawyer.
Who is your legal team?
He should try to go get it.
If you need one, call JRW.
Hey, I ain't mad at him. Get your paper, but I just think that some of the pushback going to be, and if y'all say he's the most branded person in the last decade, then I have no argument then. If he's the most branded person, I never looked at it like that. I never thought I ain't even thought about Kris Jenkins up to this. So when I look up and see him.
But you think about him every Final Four.
No, I don't.
Oh.
No, I don't.
You don't think about the shot?
No, not every Final Four. I mean, to the extent where, well, no. So
some things you try to forget.
No.
What do you think about when the NCAA tournament?
I think about Carolina making the Final Four.
Exactly.
That's what I think about.
Okay.
So wait. So you agree that Kris Jenkins is the most marketable individual in college basketball in the last 10 years
associated with the tournament? Yeah.
Associated tournament. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
and it's not
more power to
it's
it.
marketed, not marketable. So he was the most marketed person by the NCAA tournament, right, in the last 10 years.
Wow. Okay. Get that paper then. I mean,
I
just looked at it that way, but because I wasn't looking that way.
He said, tell me, what do you think about?
I mean, I've been thinking about this year's tournament.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about. I mean, I don't go back and say what happened in 2016.
No.
But you know what's funny?
But when I look up and
that?
see it, then it reminds me.
But you know what's funny though?
I was there.
We don't even think about it as being 2016. We're just thinking about it being a part of the NCAA tournament.
Right.
It is true, and now it's ingrained as a part of the NCAA tournament.
It'll always be.
Which is why.
But that's Michael Jordan's shot will always beat Georgetown. Yeah, that was a gazillion years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we didn't see that during this year's tournament.
Yes, we did.
Marketed.
Yes, we did. I just talked about that. They had ranked all of the like the guy from Canada, I can't remember his name. Guy played for Miami. Shot when they beat Memphis State. They had Michael Jordan shot up there. They had Kris Jenkins shot, which was number one, but they had like 5 of them up there. They talked about. So anyway, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I hope we get his money because if maybe he's trying to get millions of dollars.
Yeah,
he's gonna get his money.
I can't wait to see how much that's going to be because
it's going to be millions
thing.
and millions of dollars too.
Wow.